Guys, what's in this box? I think you have an idea what's in this box, but let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. So in this box is a very special Koenig Arius that Nico brought back from the show. You're looking at a just under $1,200 Koenig Arius that is done incredibly well. So we're not going to spend too much more time sitting here talking about it. We're going to flip this around right after the logo and take a look at it because it's pretty awesome. Guys, like I said in the intro, this is the Koenig Arius. This one is done in 20 CV with a bright wash blade, satin flats, copper, smooth copper carbon fiber show scale, and a 6AL4V titanium lock scale. And this thing is so light. I mean, it weighs next to nothing for a knife this size. The action on these things is amazing. So this is one that Nico brought back from the show. This is not your average Koenig Arius you're going to find. This one was just under $1,200. So we're going to get this. We're going to sit down. We're going to look at this knife overall. We're going to look at it compared to some other knives and stuff like that. So I don't have a spec sheet. So here's the equivalent to a spec sheet for you. And let's go ahead and do some size comparison. So like I said, this is a fairly big knife. You can see in my hands, it's pretty large. So let's do some quick size comparison. Your first knife is going to be the Riot Horizon D in carbon fiber, another large knife in carbon fiber. This one is nowhere near as light as this one. So you can see, not a small knife. The Koenig Arius is a large knife. Your next knife for comparison is going to be the Spyderco Police, which is a knife that is well over 9 inches, closer to 10. So you can see this is a fairly good sized knife. And so your final knife for comparison is going to be, as always, the Chris Reese Sebenza. I like to use this one. It's a really well-known knife. Most people are going to know that size of that knife, so you have a good perspective for comparison. Also, another Idaho-made knife. These are both made just outside of Boise. Apparently, did not know this. Bill's factory is just about 10 minutes away from the Chris Reese plant. I found that out from Tim Reeve while we were at the show. So let's get this out of the way and take a look at this beautiful showing from Koenig Knives. So like I said, this is a very special version of the Koenig Knives Arius that Nico picked up at the show. This has got a very ample aperture with a fuller that goes back into the handle. It gives a very good look. The flipper tab on this is great. Super good action on these. And these are truly some of the most fall shut knives on the market. I can't believe how light this is. We're going to have to get the scale out here in a little bit. These are done with a really good hollow grind that comes down on this big belly on this knife. They did a beautiful job on the finish on this knife. You've got a little bit of a hollow swedge on this that gives it a distinct, unique look. Comfort in hand. For me, it's not as comfortable. It has to do with this flipper tab here and just the size of my hands. I've always had a problem with that. I love these knives. I just wish I could get one that was comfortable for me. I love them. I love them. I love them, but they just don't fit my hand the way we want. I did get to handle the Mini at the show. That's a knife that I can get behind. It doesn't seem to cause the discomfort for me that this one does. There's several knives that does that. Jimping on the lock bar gives you good access. It's not super aggressive. I've definitely had knives that had it. I would have preferred a low spot here, but hey, great work on that. Pocket clip is beautiful. It's got a great big hole, goes all the way through. You can see all the way through the knife into the scales. And that just adds to it being so light. You can see how much material was removed out of that. And then the carbon fiber even has had some weight reduction milling done on it in there, you can see, which all adds to this thing being one of the lightest knives this size. I mean, on the mat, you are looking at just over 8.5, just slightly over 8.5 inches on this. So an 8.5 inch knife with a blade that size being this light is amazing. Let me go get my scale and we'll take a look at it. And I haven't done that for a while. I got some batteries for my scale. So let's take a good look at what it weighs. So we haven't had the scale out for a while. Let's see what she weighs in ounces first. In ounces, guys, 4 1/8 ounce on a knife this size. In grams, 115 grams. To put that in perspective, this is a much smaller knife. Overall dimensions, 135 grams on this one. 137 actually, sorry. And in ounces, I don't think that's right. 4 3/4. So that's, I mean, dimensionally, this knife is way bigger than the Chris Reese Sebenza, not just in length. This thing is incredibly light. Let's get the scale out of the way and talk about the knife some more. So, like I said, this knife is possibly one of the best made knives on the market. Bill and those guys over at Koenig Knives make an incredible product. These are American made. They are done in Bill's shop in Idaho. The action on these is always amazing. Jeez, it is so good. Nice balance on this, weight forward balance. Beautiful blade on this, comes up with a nice belly, nice usable flat. You can use this knife for a lot of stuff. As far as hardware, you got a nice D-shaped keyed pivot so that you can tighten this down. You don't have to worry about the pivot spinning. Access to the flipper tab is great. You've got this nice area here where it just feels soft. They open that up so you don't have an abrupt thing that you come up against. And then when you put your thumb in there, you don't need jimping because you just feel swaddled and like you're in a swing, like a kid in there. It's just how your thumb feels, like nestled in there. The jimping on this is not a hot spot at all. For me, the only hot spot is the point on that flipper. Could I easily, if I owned one of these, just clean that up and take that off and take that off? I could. But for me, it's because my hands, I have large hands, and I have that third finger that kind of just pushes me down into it. It is nothing against the knife. It is beautifully done. I've always loved these. Big detent ball on this lets you have that drop shut action and still have a really snappy action. The bigger your detent ball, the more snap you're going to have. The bigger the detent ball, the tighter you can get that in there. And boy, they have it precision. There is no detent lash to speak of on this. Once you power through that, just bang, it slams open. The blades on these, super deep hollow grind. So if you're going to get one of these as a user, they're going to be super slicey. This one came ridiculous sharp. Now, like I said, this isn't one that Nico's going to use. Oh, other thing, the lanyard hole is in the backspacer, not all the way through. I don't mind that as much. It gives it a cool line. And the fact that they kind of did the whole fluted fuller thing on all of these areas, like it carries all the way through. It starts here, it comes through here, and then it comes out here. It follows the lines of the knife. This is one time I'm going to say I don't mind a lanyard hole because it makes it attractive. I could have done without jimping on the backspacer back here. There's no real need for it, but guys, geez, it is so incredible. It just amazes me how light this knife is. And with it being so light in the handle, it gives me what I'm looking for. If you guys remember, we just did the video about the puppy, the PPY. I can't remember what order videos are going up, but I did film a video about the PPY by Kaiser, and it felt so tail heavy that it put me off. This is opposite. The balance is forward of the pivot, and it just really gives you that. I know exactly where that blade is at all times. So if I'm doing work, I don't have to like look down and see where the tip of that blade is because I can feel it because of the weight forward. It's a tactile thing that I really love. Just the sound of these. Listen to that. Sorry about that, guys. I bumped the shutter remote over here on the counter with my hand and accidentally stopped recording. What I was saying is listen to the sound these things make. Listen to the lockup. Click, nice and tight. The sound of it, bang, flying out. These things are amazing. I've always loved the Koenig knives. I've sharpened a ton of these. Like I said, I'm hoping that the mini, like I felt it and it fits my hand so much better than this does. That is one rare occasion where I can honestly say that the the mini version of this knife, it seems like it's going to be a winner for me when the full size isn't. Usually I find that I don't like the mini versions of knives all that often, especially if I've owned the full size version. But like I said, I felt the one that Bill had, and it's great. It's just enough different that it fits my hand just so perfectly. So this is something that I'm not going to use. Look at that carbon fiber is just gorgeous. This is not something I'm going to use. This is going to go back to Nico as is. This is his. He's going to put it in a collection or sell it or whatever he decides he's going to do with it. So if he does decide to sell it, I'll probably let you guys know. I'll give maybe the paying members first shot at it and see if anybody's interested. But yeah, $1,100. I don't think that was wasted cash. This thing is $1,000 good. It's people ask me if my Norseman is $1,000 good. There you go. There's a really good comparison. This is so much heavier than this. And you can see, is my Norseman $1,000 good? I think it is. Is this $1,000 good? I believe it is. Man, American made, super good quality. I have to say, I think this is one of the best American made knives out there. I think there's a handful of them. There's, you've got some custom makers are making knives. You got the Sebenza. You've got some of the stuff that Medford makes. I don't like his designs. I don't like Greg really, but I do have to say his knives are some of the best made knives on the market. So especially stuff he does OEM for other people. So man, let's take one more close look at that. That thing is just beautiful. So guys, that's all I've got on this one. Let's turn around, do some final thoughts. So yeah, like I said, these things are amazing and they are well worth the price. I know people are like $1,000 for a knife. I can't believe that. $1,100, $1,200 for a knife. When you get into looking at super high quality knives, you can pick them out of a lineup. This thing is gorgeous. There is nothing to be found wrong with this knife. The only issues I have with this knife are just personal issues. So guys, that's it on this one. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But please try to tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure you've got notifications set to all and you've got notifications turned on your device, or you won't get notified of everything I put up because I'm planning on starting to put up more content on a daily basis. Just depends on how much time I have. Other ways you can support the channel, if you want to do it financially, I have a ton of affiliate links. They all support the channel. It's like self-sponsorship. Anything you purchase, the channel directly benefits from it, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And I have a few that will save you money at checkout. Dahlstrom knives, you heard me talk about it. Great kitchen knives. Greater sharpening stones, in my opinion. 10% off. Coffee Brand Coffee, really good coffee, no politics, no pandering, 5% off. And Atlas VPN, which is the VPN I use, is saving 80% off through the holidays. That's $44 for 2 years. Other ways you can do it is I have a membership down below that is tier-based. All of my members get access to my Gilded server. It's just like Discord. Baseline and premium tier members are entered into giveaways that I do automatically. They don't have to do anything. Automatically entered into giveaways I do on the Gilded server, and the premium tier guys have access to my premium sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube. And the final way is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co, where you can pick up my merchandise or other creators' merchandise for 10% off if you use my coupon code CrazySharp. Capital C, capital S, CrazySharp saves you 10% at checkout anywhere on Ember Shirt Co. Guys, that's it. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.